Hey Aaron, we've got ourselves another Barnabus deck. I'm up against a Warlock here. Very likely I'm going to end up running against the new Warlock hero, the Legendary hero. Obviously I don't want Ultimate Infestation in my opening hand. Mark of Visage is sometimes fine to have in my opening hand if I happen to have beasts that I can buff, but I do not. And with that being the case, I want to try to draw for a 2-drop or a 3-drop. I have not been so lucky. I have not been so lucky. And of course on turn 1 I'm just going to play Jungle Giants. Not sure what's taking him so long. I doubt he's playing the Warlock quest because it is absolutely awful. Yeah, greetings. End your turn. So depending on what kind of pressure he puts on the board, I may play the Celestial Dreamer on turn 3 even if it does not get buffed. But obviously that's not ideal. And another one. That being the case, I might even coin it out because I have the Mark of the Wild. Therefore I can turn it into a 5/5. It would be much nicer if it did it by itself, but it doesn't, so I'll just use Mark of the Wild instead. And that's fine by me. He can build his hand all he likes because I like slower games. Mistress of Mixtures. So at this point in the game, he can't play 0 mana minions by healing himself, so I probably want to kill that on my turn. That way he cannot play the 0 mana 3/3. If I allow him to kill it on his turn, then he can. So makes more sense to me to do it that way. Now you might think if he uses 2 cards to kill my guy, that's a 2 for 2, but it's actually not because he's been drawing cards this entire time. Meaning that he actually ends up plus 2 cards because he healed the 2 health from drawing cards. He essentially drew 2 cards for no side effect. And at the same time, I'm perfectly fine just having a 5/5 on the board. Unfortunately, it's only 1 closer to getting my Barnabus, because the first one did not count. That's okay. I would have liked to play Lotus Agent on curve, but instead it seems like I'm going to have to deal with that. And of course, since I'm going to have to hero power anyway, I'm going to go ahead and draw a card as well because I need cards. I need to be able to keep up with all his nonsense. Let's see, what you got for me now? Does that even hurt me? I lose a Naturalize off that? And Earthen Scales. So let's go ahead and see what we can do beyond this point because it's not a terrible spot for me to be in, but also I don't have anything that combos at all, so I'm going to go ahead and search for combo cards. For whatever reason, I'm leaning towards Tisselty here because I want to draw cards. I don't really have a lot of combined cards for Fandral, and the 7 mana card gets me a 5/5 and a 1/1, which is not overly good. Especially if he's got that sort of AoE. And again, I would have preferred to not play the 5/3, but you do what you got to. At this point in time, I do want to buff it up. That way, when I use my Menagerie, I both complete the quest and get another 7/7 with Stealth, which can potentially be used to win the game as well. We'll see what kind of nonsense he has. If he clears the board, that would be bad. It's very strange that he would do that. Because he had a 6/6 out of 7/7, right? Why would he do that? That hurts me a lot. But he can't be stream sniping or anything. I don't stream. So I don't know what would prompt him to make a play like that. It turns out to be the right one. But good God, that's an awful play. And Shiv here is probably the wrong option. I would imagine that Jades are actually just better. But again, I'm trying to get card draw so that I can get my good cards. And so I'm very close to completing my quest. What I'm thinking here is that once I get it, then I can start playing all my card draws and just win the game outright. He has been holding on to that for a very long time. It looks like I'm not going to be able to play Barnabus until next turn, but that's perfectly fine because it allows me to start getting these jungle giants out. And if he uses his killing stuff on the Barnabus, then I am able to combo with the Menagerie. And Innervate would be great so that I could play them on the same turn, but I cannot. He already twisting Nether. It just seems like such a bad play. It turned out to be good, but holy crap. It's a bad play if I don't happen to have exactly what I had in my hand. And now I can play both cards, but I potentially want to kill the 4/5 while I can. Or I might want to save the Death Coil for the face. If I play Barnabus right now, I can also innervate the Thistle Tea out, which is an option, but I like the option of Menagerie get here because... I don't know if I agree with that play. I realize I'm the one that made it. I'm trying to set up lethal here, but unless he has another twisting Nether, then if I put coin out, or sorry, I keep calling it coin, because that's the effect it has now, but this is the old innervate, which would have allowed me to play the Menagerie as well. Basically, I was trying to keep the Lich King alive a little bit longer and set up that lethal, so either he has a way to save himself or he doesn't. But in any case, I still think the other play would have been better. Alright, that's perfectly fine. And that's why I run Menageries in this deck, because you play the 5/5 Barnabas and a 0 mana 5/5 and another 0 mana 8/8. And if it has any buffs, it keeps those buffs as well. But now he can clear my board, and I can't finish the game. So, yep, I would have had lethal. Did not end up having lethal because of the plays that I made. And since I drew the stealth card, obviously want to play that first so that I can buff it up and then play my other minions. I can also Thistle Tea here, which is an option, but since he's playing things like Cold Lights, I don't really want to. And what I'm thinking about here is potentially buffing it up first, although I don't know if that's necessarily a good option. If I can buff it up to have an extra 1 damage and then copy it, then it basically sets up lethal as long as I stay in stealth. And Obliterator allows me to get by whatever taunts he may play. So right now I'm just overloading on the deck to basically pressure as much lethal as I possibly can. And I'm also trying to play around any further card draw. And that is the worst freaking card I could Thistle Tea. You do not want 3 ultimate infestations in your hand. That is going to kill you. That is going to kill you. Also, I definitely should have... Oh no, I couldn't attack. I played it last turn. I was about to say I should have attacked. But yeah, if he happens to have the 3 damage AoE, then I'm in some very bad shape. If he has Defile, which I played right into by playing the Elder Longneck, I forgot that I had to play it first in order to prevent exactly what happened from happening. That is a giant mistake on my part. Whoopsie. Question is, how do I win this game now? Do I play my 3 ultimate infestations? Or what? 4 ultimate infestations. Holy crap. If you want to kill yourself, what you want to do is you want to get 4 ultimate infestations in your hand and draw 20 cards for 40 mana. Right now, I am thinking about playing it, but also he's running low on cards as well, and I'm running low on cards. This may just end up milling me. This may be one of the worst plays I could potentially make to play the ultimate infestation. So instead, I'm going to go with this Shell Shifter here, and then mill myself, because that makes sense to me somehow. Oh, here's all my good cards. There's Cenarius gone. There's Malfurion the Pestilent gone. And now I have milled myself. Do you want to know why they didn't nerf Ultimate Infestation? Do you want to know exactly why? It's not that it's not an overpowered card. It's that idiots like me make plays like that where they get rid of all their good cards, mill themselves, start Fatigue. And for what? It's like I get a 5/5 on the board and 5 armor? Holy crap, that was the absolute worst play I could have made. made only possible by Thistletea, which I should never have chosen in the first place, and now I lose to Defile here. Basically, I don't think there's any way I can potentially win this game, not because my deck is bad, not because my opponent is good, but just because Ultimate Infestation is a broken card. Nerf it, please, so that I can't kill myself with it. Can you do that for me, Blizzard? Can you please nerf Ultimate Infestation? I'm still going to try to win here, but obviously I can't play it again because if I draw 5 cards, I just die. Oh. And I don't know of any way to win this unless I start getting board control here, which is why I'm making this play. I do have the option to adapt, and I'm going to go for probably Wind Fury because I don't have any win conditions if I do not do that. But at the same time, I don't want to make it easy for him. He has used 2 Defiles. He can still clear the board with all sorts of AoE. And if I had not milled myself, this would basically be a shut-in. If I didn't get all these Ultimate Infestations with a Thistletea, this would basically be a shut-in. If I didn't kill his 4/5 Dreadlord, this would basically be a shut-in. There's all sorts of mistakes that I made. Honestly, I don't even deserve to win this game. And it also can't be won at this point. It cannot be won at this point. The only real option is to swipe and then Doomsayer to stall, kill some of his stuff, and then hope I can Ultimate Infestation for the win at some point in time. Which I don't think will be happening because he very likely has his own hero power. Holy crap, man. This is why this card does not have a higher win rate than it actually does. And I also have the Shiv in hand, which draws me a card. If I want a card draw, I could have just used Shiv. I chose not to. I decided, you know what? Ultimate Infestation is the right play. It wasn't. It was not the right play. And you just got 5 free cards. Yeah. And he gets useful cards as well. Like the cards that I chose to draw. My rogue cards were not very good. And here I am just losing outright. I'm pretty sure this game's over. I don't think there's any way I can win from this point forward. General Megastar doesn't really matter. I basically just lose. Because next turn I take 4 damage. He's got the death on the board. So let me just go ahead and kill myself here. Ah, that's the GG. Ultimate Infestation. OP. Don't ever play it if you're about to die. Okay? Don't do that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, because I got more videos coming your way, baby.